Thank you, Billy. So we are going to start our panel discussion. So if I can just have the panelists come. First, just bear with me a little bit. So if I can have Tomoko on the first seat. And this is for my purpose, so I can have it in order. And then Alex here. And then Kate. Is Kate here? Kate, this one. And then Nisa. And then, let me see, Valerie. Valerie after Nisa. And Jennifer here. And then Edgar as the last one. Thank you. Okay. You guys hanging in there? Great. Okay, perfect. So my name is Cristina Espiritu, and I am the procurement manager for PACE. So if you have any federal procurement questions, make sure you find me outside. But first, I wanted to introduce our panel. So first, we have our panel discussion, which is funding sources for little Tokyo businesses, which means you have to make sure you remember their faces. These are the money people, right? Make sure you find them outside. But first, I'd like to introduce them one by one. Slide one. So first, we have Tomoko Omura here, and she's the executive director and head of Japan Asia Banking Division of SMBC Manubank in Los Angeles, California, and manages 9 relationship managers in Northern and Southern California. And she was born in Kobe, Japan, and grew up in Tokyo. She came to the U.S. after graduating from high school in Tokyo and graduated from Cal State University in Fullerton in 2003 with a BFA in sculpture. So thank you. Second is Alex. So Alex is a senior vice president and market leader of the private bank at the Bank of America Merrill Lynch for the greater Los Angeles area. And in his capacity, his responsibilities include managing and leading a team of private client managers and private client advisors focused on delivering strategic financial guidance and solutions throughout the greater LA area. So welcome, Alex. And then we have Kate Wu. So Kate Wu migrated to the United States with her family at the age of 14. Following graduation from UC Riverside, she embarked on a career as a corporate financial analyst. In 2021, she joined US Bank, initially contributing to the business banking team before transitioning to the business access team, which is a significant role as it focuses on supporting diversity lending and empowering minority business owners through access to capital and essential banking services. So welcome, Kate. And next to her, we have Nisa Buck. And Nisa Buck is a senior management analyst from the City of Los Angeles Economic and Workforce Development Department. She specializes in economic development programs, including the newly launched Legacy Business Program, so she'll tell us all about it. And she focuses on preserving and supporting long-lasting businesses that are integral to the community's cultural and economic fabric. So welcome, Nisa. And next to her is Valerie Rivas. So Valerie Rivas is the Vice President of Small Business Community Office at the Bank of America, which is dedicated to the LA County. She is a small business advisor who specializes in new and emerging businesses in underserved and multicultural areas. She understands the business owner's unique needs and focuses on recommending financial solutions tailored to help her clients. So welcome, Valerie. And next to her, we have really great panelists. So next to her is Jennifer Whelan, which is one of our very own. So Jennifer Whelan is a chartered financial analyst chart holder from the CFA Institute with extensive experience in consulting, access to capital, working capital loans, small to mid-sized business mergers and acquisitions. She is a senior loan counselor at PACE, and she provides working capital loans for small businesses. So welcome, Jennifer. And last but not the least, we have Edgar Darole. And Edgar is a seasoned commercial loan advisor at Genwest Capital with a dynamic career spanning major financial institutions like Citibank, Union Bank, and California Bank of Trust. He brings more than 29 years of expertise in securing, arranging, and originating commercial loans. So thank you, Edgar, and welcome. So welcome, everyone. Okay, so let's get started. We have a lot of questions, but I don't think we'll get through them. So that means they'll have to talk to you outside, right? So next slide. There you go. Yeah. So basically, think of this panel as what you can get as resources and the funding that's available for brick and mortar and online businesses that are located in Little Tokyo. So that's how we're going to get structured. So the first thing is, we have a lot of bankers in this panel. So first question is, what role can banks play in supporting the economic development of Little Tokyo? So if you wanted to start, Tomoko?
Sure. So Little Tokyo is considered to be in low and moderate income neighborhoods, which may or may not be true right now anymore. But what is great for the businesses located in this area is that Federal Reserve and other federal banking regulators encourages banks to help meet the credit needs of the community. So due to this, many banks, including my bank, will provide the loans to the businesses in the area with a little bit more lenient guidelines compared to traditional loans. So there are more funds potentially available to you because you're in Little Tokyo.
And Valerie or Kate, can you add to that? What funding programs or specific programs are available through your bank?
Hi, good afternoon. This is Kate with US Bank. So US Bank has several ways that supports Little Tokyo. So first is that we got a branch that's like 2 minutes away from this location, and our banker and branch manager inside that bank actually speaks Japanese and other language. So we would like to first able to serve the community in the language that they prefer to talk. And on top of that, many of our app, our information online is also available in different languages. So we hope to serve as many community as possible. And third, I would like to introduce my team, which is Business Assets team. So my team focus on supporting minority-owned business and also business located in low to moderate income areas, share the information and connect the community and the business owner with the right organizations or financial institutions. And so fourth, it would be our sometimes we provide financial literacies in different language that everyone's welcome to join with no cost periodically. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And Valerie, I know that your organization is doing something to give back to the community. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you everybody for being here and having here as well. There's a lot of different things, so it's really hard to highlight, but let's try it. So first of all, I do want to highlight that Bank of America is committing to our women and minority-owned businesses. So every year we actually do something called Women and Minority Business Owner Report. And the reason we do that is we want to get the unique perspective of our multicultural clients. Specifically today, I want to highlight AAPI clients. Now, 83% of our clients last year said that they were looking for access to capital options. So we were able to actually lower our revenue size from $250,000. A lot of our clients thought that maybe was too high, so we worked on bringing that down to $100,000. We still do require the 2-year minimum in business. However, we did lower that, so it opens up the doors to more. But in addition to that, we partner up with different organizations at a national level, such as National ACE, which is an AAPI Chamber of Commerce at a national level, which we contribute to. But in addition to that, we do partner up with organizations such as PACE, Chinatown Service Center, providing technical assistance, workshops, but more than anything, also being able to provide those resources and access to capital in the event they can't get funding it through their bank.
Thank you. And how about you, Jennifer? So are there any funding programs that are specifically tailored for businesses in Little Tokyo?
Yeah, sure. So for us, we are more the little cousins for all the banks. PACE is the CDFI, Community Development Financial Institutions, CDFIs. So we do the loans a little bit in smaller size, as low as $5,000 up, and then to typically $350. So a lot of the time, there may be a small business owner, they're not ready yet, just like Valerie said, right? They need 2 years tax return, or the financials not really there yet. So PACE also help to do a lot of technical support. We basically coach you to package the loan, and then then we can, a little bit more flexible when we look at the documents. And then when the business grow, with the funding, and we always, we always transfer to the banks that they can serve you better and give you more products. So we actually start with the loans as low as $5,000.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. And now let's switch to something that's called free money, right? So I wanted to ask about the grant, and you're up, Nisa. So I know that there is the City of LA Legacy Business Program. Everyone has been asking me about it, so please give us the details on that one.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So we just launched our new legacy business program this year in February, and actually yesterday we just launched opened our application for the grants. So if you have already not applied for this program, there's still time to get onto the registry in order to apply for the grant, but you do need to apply for the registry first. And to back up a little bit, what a legacy business is a business that's been around for at least 20 years, around in the same community. If you moved around a little bit, that's fine, as long as you're in the same neighborhood community that you served. And you have to have some kind of significant impact on your community. But we also believe that if you've been around for at least 20 years, then you have made that impact. It's just about making that in a narrative form and letting us know how you made that impact. And we do have a table outside, so if you're not sure, just come talk to us, and we can help you through that application as well.
Okay. And when does the grant application end?
So the application opened yesterday, and it's going to be open till September 15th for round 1. We do plan on opening a round 2 in the fall. So if you do apply, and it's a lottery base, so if you did apply for the first grant or for the first round and you didn't get it, your application will roll over. As well, if you didn't quite make the cutoff for round 1, you have a round 2 opportunity as well.
Okay, great. And the round 2 is this year, or it's going to be?
Yes,
okay,
this year
great.
in the fall.
So just make sure you put that on your calendar, right? Little ping. And so let me shift. So who here are owners of brick and mortar stores? I can't see anything here, so I'm assuming there are some people who raised their hands. So I wanted to shift on commercial real estate financing. So Jennifer, I'm going to ping back to you. And what are the current commercial real estate financing trends that you see for small businesses in Little Tokyo? Are there any specific programs or incentives that you have seen so far?
Yes, so right now, I think everybody knows the commercial market is very challenging. I think all the bankers will say, it's a very difficult water to charter. So, however, PACE is a nonprofit here. We do provide lots of technical supports and to small business owners if you want to, look into if you want to lease or buy commercial properties. Even though we don't do commercial loans at this point, maybe we'll do it in the future, very soon in the future. But we can act as your free consultants or advisors to help you to analyze, is it a good time to buy or is it a good time to lease? And if it's a good time to buy, where to find the best programs works for you? Because we know that different banks have different appetites. Some certain banks may like certain industry, and another bank may, shy away from that. So PACE will, because we work so closely with the bankers, so we'll know, we'll save your time to shop around. We basically help you become more like your free consultants to work with our banking partners to recommend the best programs for you. And then also we also work with some other CDFIs, and then especially in the low-income area, there are certain recovery grant that you might help you to purchase owner-occupied buildings with the 20% of the down payment assistance programs. So I think lots of people may be interested in it. Maybe you can talk to me a little bit later so I can elaborate a little bit more that the program offered by our lending partners. So, but if you want to go into a little bit more details about commercial loans, I think Edgar probably is the right person here to give you a little bit more insight.
Yeah, Edgar, please.
All right. Thank you, Christina. Glad to be here. So as far as commercial real estate trends, with the Otani effect and the recent opening of the Metro A or B station right across the street, we see a lot of mixed-use buildings where they combine residential, office, and retail spaces, so they will attract more foot traffic within the community. Also, we're also seeing a trend in, because Little Tokyo, there's quite a few historical buildings, so there's an adaptive reuse activity going on lately. Another thing that I see or we see is more on having more businesses tend to have a space on some green spaces or environmental friendly spaces. So those are the trends. As far as financing goes, SBA financing is still the best out there. If you want a 10% down, you can get a SBA 504 or 7A program. So it's still the best out there.
I wanted to add also something that we started 2 years ago. We actually started a down payment grant to get you into a piece of commercial property, meaning you move in your business into the commercial property for our multicultural and women-owned businesses. So it is up to $25,000 would have to go through SBA. And this is just a way of us to bridge the gap within our ecosystem. So definitely something great to get you into the properties. If you want more information, we'll be happy to go through that information as well.
Okay, great. And do you guys have any insider tips on the real estate investment then? If not, you can tell me later, right?
Do you have what? I'm sorry?
I said, do you have any insider tips?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll meet you right there outside. That's fine. So thank you. So now we're going to go into second. So now we've looked at the funding sources. So now I wanted to move to how you can leverage the local resources to fund your Little Tokyo business. So this one I wanted to open up to Alex. What are the most common funding challenges that are faced by Little Tokyo businesses that you've seen?
Hello. There we go. Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for the question, Cristina, and thanks for having me. I think the biggest challenge is not knowing enough education-wise. I think what you're hearing across the whole panel is that although we work for different companies up here, there's a plethora of education. A lot of our first-generation immigrants that came over initially you were limited to the folks that you knew in terms of education. And sometimes you had people that were successful in business, sometimes you didn't. Nowadays, you actually have so much more access, not only to individuals, but online, but more importantly, just now trying to figure out how to navigate that process. And so that's why PACE is such a huge partner for us at the bank. And I know many of the other financial institutions as well, just in terms of trying to navigate that piece. I think the second piece is around educating yourself on what stage you are in terms of building, whether you're initially just starting to build, you're mid-stage, or perhaps maybe you're a legacy business. As many legacy businesses, 20 plus years, they're thinking about certain things that are different. And you're also probably thinking, why is a private banker up here? Well, I've been at the bank for 20 years. I started in small business at Bank of America. I kind of grew my career helping business owners build their business. But really what I'm in charge of, and what a lot of bankers in general are in charge of, is the success pathway to an exit or potentially to a legacy for your family, right? So I think the education piece is also so much of a key. And then I think the last piece is around just building a solid network. And it's not just a network of all of us here, but it's a network where you come to a bank. Banks do work with so many different advisors. And as a business owner, it's important not only to have a great banker, but you also have to have a great attorney, a great CPA. And at the same time, you might have a great banker, attorney, and CPA that fit with you in an initial startup phase. But as you grow and you develop and you look at different things and you expand and you take on more partners and you take on more opportunities, you're going to look at other things that you might need to develop and grow into, and you might need other advisors too. So what I'd encourage all of you to do is to meet everyone that's up here, meet each other, because what's going to happen is you're going to grow that network and also find something that's going to help you make the next step of success.
Well, thank you, Alex. So what I'm hearing is that you have to make sure that there are different advisors depending on your stage of business, and as you grow, then you want to make sure that you also adjust your advisors and your network accordingly.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, and is that something you can add to Tomoko? So same question, what are some of the funding challenges that you've seen? And then how can businesses increase their chances of securing funding?
I want to say, so like Kelly said earlier, it's sometimes for the local, businesses borrow from the bank. So really knowing, organization like PACE or knowing your banker who's gonna help you, develop to the point. But meanwhile, we could give other suggestions of what to do. That's very important for the business, I believe.
Yeah, well, thank you. So I wanted to open up this question to all the panelists. So you have mentioned networks and some other tips, but what role can mentorship and business coaching play in accessing funding and resources? Anyone who wants to chime in?
I'll jump in real quick. I think the biggest thing from a mentorship standpoint is understanding your story. I think the challenge for all of us as on the financing side is trying to build that narrative for you, because we're trying to be an advocate for many of you as business owners to try and advance your funding or trying to secure some funding. And I think a lot of the time you know your story the best, but it's also trying to be able to deliver that. And what I've seen over my time here at the bank over the last 20 years, the folks that can really tell their story best or have been able to practice it through either a mentor or bouncing ideas off of other people have been folks that have been able to succeed not only in gaining funding, whether it's us on the stage here, maybe it's private, or maybe it's partnerships, but elsewhere. And so I'd say the biggest thing that a lot of mentors can do is to help provide you a soundboard, but also help you finalize or formalize what your message is and how you're seen from a brand standpoint.
Adding to that, this past Saturday, I actually did some work for PACE, and we did building a business plan and just having that mentorship of that foundation of how important it is to having a business plan. That's your vision, that's your mission statement right there. What is it that you're going towards? Where do you want the direction of your business to go towards, right? Now, what are lenders going to look for? They're going to want to see your business plan. They want to see what your aspirations are, what your goals are, your stability. And also, going into your business plan, I was explaining to them that I have clients that they thought they didn't need a business plan, and that's just one of the foundational things that you have to do starting, if invest your time right from the beginning. And what I was mentioning to them is that one of my clients took a look at his business plan, and he took a look and said, wow, I'm spending $20,000 each time I have to rent a water truck. Why don't I just buy one? I found one for $100,000. That's going to increase $150,000 to my bottom line. And you know your story better than anybody else. You know your business. That is your baby. So being able to get that and tell the lender of this is what I'm going to do with the money and this is what it's going to do for me if you give me that money is very powerful. So having those essential and foundational from the beginning is definitely very essential.
Yeah, to add on that, I would like to just encourage all the business owners to utilize. There's lots of free resources out there. PACE is one of the nonprofit organizations, but there's other ones too. So utilize all those free resources to help you to build a network, just like he said. And then I'm going to steal one quote from another banker. They said you need to build, you need to have A, B, C partners. A is accountant, of course, lenders. Even though we are CDFI, we still look at historical numbers, but we might also look at projected, but historical number is very important, right? A, accountant, B is bankers or lenders like us, C is legal counsels, right? So you need to have A, B, C partners like at different stage really serve your needs. And also another critical item I think I would like to add to Veronique's business plan is that you have your great idea. You think you're making money or you think this idea doesn't work, right? So, but with all the free resources, will help you to put those into numbers in the spreadsheet. That makes you really look at your business in a different level. Wow, I make more money. Oh, wow, this is a great idea, but it's not profitable, right? So we help you to save your time to really transform your ideas into numbers to see for your financial needs. And I think there's lots of free resources out there, organizations to help you to achieve that. And I think this is, so critical to support your business growth. And our organizations, we always want to help you to grow, and then we become part of the bankers, right? We're more happy to see you graduated from us, and then we hand over to our banking partners.
I would like to add on to that. I totally agree. Like during my conversation with clients or customer, I hear this a lot. oh, I heard my friend apply for it, he or she got declined, so I feel like I don't get approved neither. Or like I applied 5 years ago, I got declined, so I feel like I might not get approved again. Or like I'm new immigrants, my credit too thin, probably the bank won't approve it. So there's so many times that my clients either Google it, hear a story from one of their friends, or just jump into a conclusion feels like they don't qualify. But I feel like the best practice would be always connect with the professional consultants. We provide free consultants, many like free resources, and we're professional. So yeah, talk to us more and probably spend less time on Google. Not using Google as your only sources, and don't jump to a conclusion. Your friend get declined, or you got declined sometime in the past, you got declined by one of the bank, doesn't mean that you doesn't qualify. It only simply means you doesn't qualify at that moment with that program, within that bank. So please, yeah, always reach out and have the conversation with us. We're here to help.
And I think that goes to show you should also not use ChatGTP, right? Or is it the same? Okay. Well, yeah, but I really like what you guys are saying. So first of all, make sure you have your story. Make sure you take advantage of the free resources, and if you've graduated to that, use your ABC, right? So I love that. So now we don't have a lot of time left, but I wanted to just quickly shift to Little Tokyo in general, because Little Tokyo thrives on its cultural identity, so it's multicultural. So I just wanted to know if there are any specific challenges that you've seen just working with the Little Tokyo community in general. And I'll just ping whoever wants to respond.
I would have to say, kind of going back to what Alex was saying, is the education piece. And actually, AAPA clients are actually prone to go to education, but maybe it's not available in their language, or maybe don't know exactly where to go. When it comes to all that, there's a lot of different resources that are available that you can get the information when you need it. But more so, I think it's more of not knowing when to get capital, and maybe it's too late to go to your bank because now you're in trouble. Now your account receivable, you have a bunch of money that is owed to you, and yes, the money will eventually get there, but maybe you don't have it. So now you're into trouble. So now you don't qualify with your lender. You didn't go to the bank on time. So now you have to turn over to an alternative source of funding. But what I keep hearing, unfortunately, is that clients will go, or the business owner will go to their bank, and unfortunately they're not given guidance as to where to go. There should be guidance where to go, and we should all work together as to
Send it to CTFI first.
there you go. Yes,
There you go.
absolutely.
I like that
But
plug.
definitely send it over to somebody that can do it. So don't stop there. And every time I do my workshops, at the beginning, I'm like, okay, you own this lending company. Can you write me a check for $50,000? Why? No, they want to know more information. But guess what? That maybe is not the right lender for you. So let's get you to the right lender. So don't give up there.
And I think for here, because of most of us Asian, we know that we're very conservative. So I think going out together alone was always is our last resort. So, but I think most of the bankers will agree. There's a common saying that you should borrow money when you don't need the money, right? So, and then this is critical, that you should plan and look ahead, like 3 steps look ahead. Okay, my business may be growing next year. I maybe open another new branches for another restaurant. So you should prepare now, and then go out to talk to different counselors or resources to find out, to prepare for that. Because otherwise, just like Varen said, it's too late. Then every bank, every lenders, we have our underwriting process. When you really need the money, the time crunching is just not on the favor of your side. So again, the common sense is go to look for money when you don't need the money.
And I was just thinking about what Kate was talking about. People always trying to self-diagnose. So I think about WebMD. Whenever you feel something, you start looking it up, you start going down a rabbit hole, and you start finding all these answers, but they're not necessarily the right answers for you, right? And so while we have a lot of competitors, it's great because you can always get a second opinion. And I always say, if you know, especially in financing, every single bank has a different appetite, and they're looking for different things. They have a different buy box. They have a different support structure. They just lend differently in different areas. And so you have a myriad of of resources up here. You have PACE as well that can help you navigate some of that, but always go to one or two folks just to get some different perspective. Perspective is always great, especially when you're trying to find financing, because one may give you something that another one won't. And why I don't always like to compete, I think it's probably the most important thing for business owners. So.
Well, thank you, Alex. Yeah, first of all, I think you've seen my browser history because I do a lot of WebMD. Yeah, but yeah. So now we've gone through the funding challenges. We've looked at the barriers, but I want to end on a high note. So I know a couple of you have success stories and case studies. So Alex, I think you were going to share one, and then Jennifer.
Sure. So we actually help small business owners here on First Street. I need to pronounce the names better. Kugeri, and then it was the on First Street, and that Japanese restaurants. PACE actually helped them during COVID to give them a disaster loan very gracefully because of the EDA. The City of LA support us. We have EDA funding. Then we actually give them a loan to help them to go through the most difficult time and the challenging time to remodel the business. So I think City of LA very supportive of us, and then PACE was honored to can help the small business owner here. The restaurant. It's on First Street. Welcome to check it out.
For us, we actually worked with another bank. It was a partner of Valerie's. Actually knew someone at U.S. Bank, and U.S. Bank had a component of a relationship. They said, you know what, I don't think it's perfect for what we do right now, but I know that my friend over at Bank of America can do something. What we did was we helped a business that was going to be moved out of their existing location, purchase a building under the grant SBA opportunity, where it was a women-owned business. We were able to help build kind of a bigger business plan with the help of PACE and a couple other resources that we were able to pull in, and we were able to get them into a new property, a new building, build out some new infrastructure, and have something that's thriving now. Probably 4 or 5 years, they've gone 30% larger, grown 30% larger, women-owned business, and now are on the cusp of taking on a pretty large opportunity with Target and Walmart. So it's something that's a locally homegrown business that has now grown to become something national.
Great. Yeah, and we love to hear those success stories. So with that said, I wanted to introduce Glenn Osaki, who will have 2 success stories, right? So I know that maybe the next slide will say we have a 15-minute break, but since we're running a little bit late, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and shift to the success story. So thank you so much. So let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Make sure you find them outside, right? So with that said, I wanted to bring in Glenn Osaki. And then Glenn Osaki is a senior advisor to the President, International Community and Marketing at the University of Southern California, where he's focused on USC's global strategy, branding, and thought leadership. So I wanted to bring him in, and 2 major success stories that he's going to be talking about.